please introduce yourself and the organization that you're representing today?
Hi, I'm Barsha Panda. I'm the founder and CEO of Dark Street Consulting. We're a business consulting practice, and we work with CXOs and CEOs on developing strategies to sustain and scale, build stronger organizations, and be more agile and responsive to internal and external realities.
That sounds intense. Tell me a little bit about you winning your honorary award tonight here in the Internet 2.0 conference in Dubai. How was the feeling like? How did it finally feel when you received the recognition that you always required for all your many accomplishments?
You know, to say that I'm happy would be an understatement. I'm really happy. I think what makes it especially important for me is this is my first recognition as an entrepreneur. So I have won industry recognitions earlier as a practitioner, as someone who has led, responsibilities in large organizations. But to win it as an entrepreneur on our own merit is fantastic. I think it also speaks to what Internet 2.0 does as a forum, bringing up fairly young organizations to light. So that was great, and I feel like it's been 20 months of running a business, and I'm glad that leadership is getting recognized.
Oh, that's great. In just 20 months, you're sitting on this seat today. You've won an award. Congratulations on your many achievements. I hope many more come your way. So, tell me a little bit about how you're finding this conference in terms of the learning, in terms of marketing. Has Internet 2.0 conference here in Dubai been fruitful for you?
Yeah, I think I like the way people connect to each other over here. It is very different from a lot of other, networking events that take place. I think the conversations here are more focused. They are content specific. I also find a lot of people interested in what you have to say, and they come out and we talk about it. So I think it serves a rather, it serves a purpose that a lot of other forums don't these days. It gets a lot about footfalls and stuff, and not really content focused. So I think that's very interesting.
So you're learning a lot here. We're really glad you're enjoying. We just hope you have a good coming days. If anybody over here wants to collaborate with you, if anybody here wants to reach you for advice even, where can they reach you? What are the platforms where they can drop you a text?
Well, they could reach me anywhere for that matter. There's LinkedIn, many of them have my numbers. I'm also very active on Twitter. Follow me there. That's where I share a lot more about work and life. But I'm pretty accessible and available across platforms. Also, I love to have conversations that are just purely conversation. Somebody who has a question, heard something, wants to know more, happy to share.
So drop her a question anytime you guys like. So let's move a little bit towards the practicality, internet. What are your views on the creative economy?
So when we say creative economy, it's the state of the world that we're seeing now, where on one hand there is technology that is foundational, defining, and it's being built by technology experts. Okay, that's one layer. The second layer is there are people who are domain experts, the people who know the fields very well, and technology is becoming so simplified, they're able to create value without really getting into the weeds about technology. Right? And then there's a third layer on top of it, people who are able to influence it and are able to take all the stuff that's getting built to the market in very new and different ways. Now this entire stack, from deep tech to how it's going to market, and the one in between of easier ways to build and create value, that's the creative economy. So in the way I look at the world, this is the stack of the business that is creating the maximum amount of value, because it's very democratic. More number of people are able to participate in this world to create value, to make value for themselves, and to create impact in the world.
That's actually a super interesting insight. I don't think I've heard anything similar to this, like throughout been interviewing people. So that's actually quite interesting. Let me talk a little bit about your organization now. There's many big companies out there. Internet is on the rise. What sets you aside? How are you different from the big companies that's been in the game for so long?
First of all, we don't want to be a big company. I think that sets us apart. We want to stay lean, we want to stay agile, we want to operate in distributed modes. But I think fundamentally, see, the big companies got their game. So this is nothing to do against them. The way we see this play up is when you see the creative economy and you see different leagues and levels of people who are coming into business, you need offerings that serve their needs and purposes beyond the conventional way things happen. So today, if you look at it, there could be a company who says, culture is my problem, but focus groups are not going to solve it. And we understand that because they need to bring a product. They need to ship the product in 6 months. The culture needs to be fixed and the product needs to be shipped in those 6 months. On the other hand, if a large company says, hey, I have issues with my leadership because they're not listening to young people, that's a very new problem that we're dealing with, right? So I think the difference in us is that we come up with very real life strategies. We're also big believers in how things actually land rather than convincing people, oh, they have landed. So we deal with a lot of real data, and we don't think emotions or feelings or how the human being is really thinking is not business. We believe that's very much a part of business. So let's deal with all of it.
That sounds very interesting. Let's emphasize on what you mentioned right now. You implement real life strategies. How does that differ from a very conventional approach? How does that benefit you?
I think a lot of our business thinking actually has been shaped still by the industrial way of looking at the world, okay? And the industrial way of looking at the world is very linear. So it's like people are assets. But people are not assets, no? They don't appreciate or depreciate linearly, right? People are spiky. Especially when it comes to knowledge and creative economies, you're dealing with the whole person and whatever they're bringing in. And that is business. You're selling to a whole person, you're getting things done by a whole person. So the real life strategies is, how would you actually solve the problem in what we call a fractalian way? So fractalian way, yeah. So how would you solve it actually for this? Because you solve it for something small here, and then you can scale that instead of trying to look at it as, this is a huge scale, how do I solve for all of it? Because all of it could be very, very different problems, and you're better off solving it small first and then scaling it.
So that sounds incredible, honestly. We just hope you all the success. You guys have just started off, so congratulations on winning your award. Thank you so much for spending your time with us, and we hope you have a great evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for this conversation. It has been great.
It has been great. Thank you so much. Thank you.